This is ICASNews.com live and direct from UN headquarters in New York City, and this is World Press Cafe Forum. I'm Robin Wallace, and today we'll be speaking about the Global Model United Nations. And with us in the studio is a Global Model United Nations official, student Dong Yup Lee. Mr. Lee, welcome.
Thank you for welcoming me, Robin. It's really great to be in UN headquarters at this moment.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great. Now, how long have you been an official for the Global Model United Nations?
I've been elected on this May, so it's roughly about months, and I'll be still working for the next couple of months to finish this Global Model United Nations successfully.
That's fantastic. Now, you're a student in Korea, is that correct?
Yes,
you're studying international relations?
I'm studying international studies. There's something related to international relations, and I get to study more other subjects related to that.
Now, how do other students get to be involved? I understand they have to be between the ages of 18 and 26, but what other requirements might there be?
So basically, you have to be a college student. You must have an experience in Model United Nations, and then you have to go through an application procedure. So we have to first send them our application form, recommendation letters, and so on and forth. And then we have telephone interview from New York to Korea, New York to other places, and then we were elected through internet votings from other applicants. So that now we are here after this long procedure.
Now, you said that the interview process goes between New York and Korea or other nations. Well, how many other students are representing other countries across this world?
So we have basically 28 officials, but among 28 of them, we have 18 at this moment in New York. And I think we roughly have more than 20 countries represented by each student, and there were some countries represented by more than one student. So we basically have everyone from all around the places.
So, wow, that's fantastic. Now, how many across the world, I mean, not just here in the United Nations today for this week's conference, how many are involved across this world in the Global Model United Nations?
So basically we have 28 officials, and we are expected to have more than 600 delegations of all of the world, and currently we have applications from 50 different countries. So I think since we have more application time, I guess there will be more countries and more people from more diverse nations.
So you have, let me get this straight, 20 officials, 600 delegates, and then how many members?
So we are representing the world. So we have 600 delegations and 28 officials, which will currently we have national diversity of about 50. So there's differences.
That's great. Really fantastic. Now, what do you intend to accomplish here in this session?
Basically, it's going to be held in Korea. And as a Korean, I'm really honored to stand to make this successful conference. And this year's theme is sustainable development in harmony with human development and the nature for the generally harmony and the peace of the world through sustainable development. So although these accomplishments that we make in Global Model United Nations will not directly change the world with the resolutions, but still we think as student leaders of the world, we can motivate other people, we can inspire the others so that we can have better world in the long-term future. So we're basically training and inspiring the leaders of the world.
Now, did you pick this topic as a means of alignment with the Secretary General's MDG goals, the Millennium Development Goals?
Well, currently United Nations have a lot of interest in sustainable development, and Korean government has their own plan for green development. So these two mixtures were the elements that decided this year's topic. So we have a theme of sustainable development, and it's totally up to us, the officials, to decide the subtopics for the discussion, so that we'll be discussing in more details.
Now, how much time does it take to prepare for this? I mean, it sounds really in-depth. You're talking about the officials being able to pick the topic, and how much time is spent preparing for this session? Well,
basically, we are being educated at this moment from the actual people working in this session, and we're having a lot of work sessions among ourselves to finish this up. So we basically have about 2 weeks to decide upon our topics and draft a research guide for the delegations. So we don't really have a lot of time, but we are from all the different nations. We have a lot of experiences about MUN. I guess we'll be able to do this in 2 weeks.
Wow, very ambitious, no doubt. That's fantastic. So what inspired you to be part of the Global Model United Nations? Did the fact that the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon being from Korea, did that play any part?
That's one of the reasons. When I was in high school, the first MUN that I went took place in 2007. And that was the year when Mr. Ban Ki-moon was nominated and become the Secretary General. So it was very coincidental, but at the same time very inspiring to me. And after that year, I constantly participated in MUN. And 2 years ago, I had a great opportunity to participate in Model United Nations hosted by UNA USA. And I had a chance to meet Mr. Ban Ki-moon, and he was addressing an opening statement. And I was students sitting on the General Assembly Hall and seeing a speech. It was very inspiring. And I also find out that he's going to be coming to Seoul and Incheon to do the opening statement again. So I thought it would be the greatest opportunity in my life to actually get to see him, get to talk to him, and the only way to do that is to become official. And since I was very interested in MUN, and since I'm involved in educating students from middle and high school to participate in MUN, and since I'm working to host the MUNs for them, I thought Global Model United Nations, which will be hosted by the United Nations, will be the Model United Nations of the world. So I thought it will be a great opportunity for me to test myself and contribute to the world of MUN.
That's fantastic. Now, you were just saying you speak a lot to other students in secondary schools and high schools about the opportunity this provides. But what kind of opportunity does this provide?
Well, first of all, there are a lot of people who don't know what to do, who don't really know what they want to do when they grow up. MUN actually provides a ground for young students to actually engage with the work that we do in international level.
So that would not, I'm just going to interrupt for a second, so it may not necessarily be that they may not see themselves playing a role. They may not know if they want to be an artist or a musician. They never may have even considered the diplomatic role of a career. But this gives them an opportunity to explore what is available in this world.
Yes, basically, a United Nations is not only about international relations. I guess it's a various studies interlinked to every single directions. Even in UN, we have UNICEF, UNESCO. They have arts and centers. They have all the different majors and different specialities. And this kind of opportunity also give you to have interaction with other people, with other majors. So people studying math, or art, music, or even international relations, politics, environment can always join into Model United Nations, share their thought, and you get to meet a lot of people from different environments. So I think that's the most inspiring and interesting part of MUN.
It definitely is inspiring. Now,
Yes.
how has it shaped your perspective and other students' perspectives, being able to have this exposure of all these global issues and to have the context that you're having? I mean, for heaven's sakes, you're meeting the Secretary General, you know? So how does that change your perspective on life and what you can do?
Well, when I was in high school, I studied about United Nations. There were classes about UN and international relations, but they always had the paper things like theories, resolutions. I knew them in my heart. I knew them as an information, but I didn't really know how these were practiced. And the actual world of diplomacy, there's more things that you have to consider than just the papers and the statistics. So MUN actually gave me an opportunity to how this world is really working. So even in MUN, we have diplomacy, personal interest, which is represented through the national interest. So this is very inspiring to actually see how this world is working, since we have a lot of different people working for similar goals. So I think that's the part.
Now, what has been probably your biggest surprise or something you wouldn't have expected to learn since you've been here at the United Nations, that you've been walking these halls? It's kind of like one of those things that just kind of just surprised you.
Well, first of all, every opportunity that Jimun provides at this moment to me is like very surprising. We get to meet a lot of people from a lot of different fields. So it's very inspiring in that sense. But most inspiring parts was that we actually had a chance to visit actual conference. We are currently having a high-level forum on AIDS and HIV. It was very inspiring to see actual delegations and ministers from all over the world to participate and give speeches in behalf of this agenda. And I will be seeing this on the papers, in the press, and internets. But I was at that place, right at that moment, and that was most inspiring things. I actually get to see this with my own eyes and ears.
It always is inspiring to see, like, first person.
Yes.
So where do you go from here? What kind of impact do you hope to make over these next couple of days that yet remain here in New York at the UN headquarters? What does your organization, the Global Model United Nations, expect to do to contribute to the world at large?
Well, we have 1.5 days for this workshop. And then we're expecting to finish building up our teamwork. So we want to have some fun, touring, to gather our friendships. And then what we also want to do is that we have to set a basic ground for preparation. Because we will be separated to all over the world. So we have different time, different region, and different places. So we have to set a certain kind of ground level for for Global Model United Nations preparations. So that's the things that we're expecting to do. So to be more specific, we will be selecting topics which will be discussed during August in Incheon, and we will be drafting a work plans for the Jimun conference. So that's the things that we're expecting to do.
And then what do you want to accomplish at that point?
Well, with this too, we are going to be separated all around the world. And with the experiences that we had in UN headquarters, I think we can inspire more people, make more people to come to Global Model United Nations, share their and then they will be able to share their experiences. So the experience that we have can be spread out through the world as we go back to our countries. I think that's the accomplishment that we can get.
That's great. Well, Dong Yup Lee, thank you so much for stopping by our studio. Once again, Dong Yup Lee is a student official with the Global Model United Nations, and this has been another edition of World Cafe Press Live. You're watching ICASNews.com live and direct from UN headquarters in New York City, and I'm Robin Wallace.